Welcome to 9 to 5 Blueprints with Elizabeth Ajadi. Really glad that you can join us today. Thank you so much for viewing the previous post. Thank you for your likes, your comments, and your engagement. It's really helping us push forward and continuing on with this series. This is video number 3 in this series. Today we'll be talking about personal branding. First, when you think of branding, what do you think of? Branding is defining something. Branding is identifying something. And so when you think of a thing, for instance, let's take a product, Nike, as a brand. Nike, when you think of Nike as a company, as a product, what comes to mind? Their swoosh and their tagline, just do it. That's their brand. They talk about going for gold. And when you see that swoosh or that tagline anywhere, in any sport, running, football, soccer, basketball, tennis, you know, just do it, just go for it. And Nike has been able to define that themselves in that way. And so when we're talking about personal branding, we're talking about defining you as a person, defining what you stand for, what you hold there, what you represent. And so 3 things that I'm going to really focus on in this topic for today is, what is the first impression that you want to give people when they see you? What do you want them to think? To what is something that you want to be related to you? And lastly, what is your purpose in life? And so when you're talking about branding, you need to be able to answer these 3 questions. 1, what is the first impression that you want to give people? 2, what is something that you want to be related to you, for people to identify you by? And 3, do you have a purpose for your life that you want people to understand when they come in contact with you? So I would be expanding upon these 3 things. In relating this back to me, just out of curiosity, I put out a questionnaire on Instagram just to get people's take on my personal brand. The question was, what does my Instagram profile tell you about me? And I got the following answers back. Sophisticated, adventurous, proud of culture, intelligent, driven, beautiful, boss lady, loves red, academic, career, travel, confident, weird, down to earth, my friend. And so it was very interesting to me that people could read all of this on my profile, and that's just my Instagram profile. I'm not the most professional person on my personal Instagram profile, I must admit. However, I utilize LinkedIn more for my personal brand than I utilize Instagram. My Instagram is the window into my personality outside of my professional career. It's just who I am. You see who I am outside of, this serious person. And so I try to keep both worlds slightly separate but still merged. And if you go on my LinkedIn today, my profile, the little clip that we write, the about me that we write there, I list my accomplishments, my educational accomplishments, my professional accomplishments, and my personal interests, so that when people go on there, they see what I've done educationally to grow myself and how I've progressed professionally. And aside from that, they see what my interests are. I like to meet people, I like to grab coffee, I like to travel, I like to make conversations. And so that way, if somebody were to reach out to me, they know how to connect with me because they know what I stand for, they know what I am, or at least they know where my head is at. And so they already know how to best approach me. If they wanted to talk about some travel plan or something, they know how to, just go for it and get in. So in that way, that's the first impression that I give people. And what is something that I want to be related to me? This 9 to 5 is something that I want to be related to me. I'm a person that likes to add value to people that are around me. When I learn something, I just want to go and tell you, like, oh my God, I learned this new thing, I found out this new thing. I find such joy in sharing and helping other people grow themselves through my story and through my journey and everything that I can share through my experiences. And so what I want to be related to me is that I'm a value-adding person. So when you see 9 to 5, you understand I'm trying to add value to young professionals by doing this, by sharing my journey and by sharing my experiences. And the last thing is, do you have a purpose for your life? I believe my purpose in life is to make impact in any way possible. I'm using this platform to make impact to young professionals, but outside of that, I want to make impact in several other areas of my life, using different mediums. I love music. I love to listen to music, and I try to share like my favorites of all time, or like favorites for a short period of time with people. I like to travel, and I hope that I can, learn by traveling. I can learn, I can share, and I like getting involved in my local church. That's one thing that I feel like that's one place that's really important to me, and I feel I have a calling there to make impact upon people in that way. And so by understanding these 3 things, the first impression, you are able to define yourself, you're able to define your brand and help people understand you, so that when you're growing your network, when you're making conversations with people, they understand where your head is at. You're not all over the place. You're focused. They see you, they know what you're about, and that's what you want to portray. So my advice for you as a young professional is sit down and think deeply about yourself, search within yourself, and try to figure out what you're about. Figure out what the first impression that you want to make, or even the lasting impression for that matter. You don't want to just leave a first impression, because especially if you're meeting those people continuously, you want the same impression to keep building upon it. They meet you for the first time, they know who you are, and the next time they see somebody else and they're slightly confused, like, okay, what's going on? You want it to be continuous, in the sense that every time they meet you, it's like layering a cake. It's like, oh, that's another layer to this person, that's interesting, but still with the same overarching purpose, overarching goal. This is where he is, this is where she is, this is what he or she is about, and this is what their purpose in life is. And so I urge you to sit down, search within, get a book. I like to write. I'm not a great writer. I just like to put down thoughts and ideas and things, just to, as I'm thinking, I just put it down and I go back and read over it, and it gives me ideas about what I'm about, what I like, what I dislike, and things like that. And it helps you focus in on what areas of your life you should develop and grow more. And so one thing that I did not mention is, if you could be trained in any one thing by top professionals, what would you choose? That's another way to try to figure out what you want. What is the thing that you want to grow? What is that one thing about you that you want more of? Do you want to see yourself winning at? You want to shine? And that's that thing. That's the thing that you should focus on. That's the thing that you should zero in on and make sure that you're spending most of your time growing and developing. That's it for today. That's all the tips I have, on personal branding. I urge you to please try out these tips and let me know if it works for you. Let me know if you try it out. Let me know in the comments, send me a DM and send an email. Again, turn on the notifications for our posts so that you can be the first to get on the video. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you watching. Have a good week.